and welcome to Government at Work. I am your presenter, Adina Johnson. In the headlines, local COVID testing available on Montserrat, and submarine fiber cable successfully connected. These and other stories after this message. Montserrat is now in a position to conduct COVID-19 tests. On July 23rd, the Glendon Hospital Laboratory introduced COVID-19 testing as one of the services they provide. The journey to this point was explained by Senior Medical Technologist Kimona Daniel Bourne.
The ministry had to undergo procurement of the analyzers, the equipment and supplies to facilitate the testing for COVID-19. Now, this procurement was supported by the Crown agents as well as Public Health England. After the procurement was completed, we would have had to undergo a series of training, and the training expanded from the use of the machine to the installation of the machine. We also had to do training on how to conduct the actual tests. So we had to do training for the SOPs for the testing, and we also had to do general laboratory biosafety training, because in order for us to ensure that we can carry out the training safely in the operational space that we have at the laboratory, we had to ensure that we undertook this training, and also we had to do a biosafety risk assessment. So that's procurement, then training. After the training and the biosafety risk assessment was completed, we then had to move forward with the verification of the testing. And what the verification does is basically to ensure that the machine is working as it's supposed to. So we would have received control materials and we would have run those. So we had to ensure that that worked. Then we also had to do trial runs. And after the trial runs, then we are now ready to launch testing.
The COVID-19 test is free, but is only currently available for certain categories of persons.
Initially, persons who presented at a health center or called the hotline who had flu-like symptoms were the ones being tested. Now that we have an island capacity, we're going to expand that preliminarily. So anybody who has flu-like symptoms will be tested. The contacts, that is, the persons who are the close contacts of anyone who's confirmed with COVID-19 will also be tested. We are also offering tests to persons who may require a negative COVID-19 test for travel purposes. And those are the main preliminary groups that we will be testing at this time.
The local lab will have the results of the test within 24 hours. But the sample will also be sent to the reference lab at CAFA for verification. Medical technologist Monique Spencer provides further details about the turnaround time for COVID-19 test results.
The laboratory has a general turnaround time of 24 hours. However, because basically this PCR test that we are implementing, it's a new system and it will follow the normal algorithm we have for our serological testing. That is, all tests are done twofold, meaning it is verified by more than one kit or testing machine. At the moment, because there's only one operating system in place for COVID-19 testing at the moment, our tests will have to be forwarded to CARPHA, Caribbean Public Health Agency, which serves as our reference laboratory. So what will happen is we will give our 24-hour presumptive results while we wait for CARPHA to verify the results we have are indeed what we say we have.
A medical team of 13 health professionals from Cuba arrived on Montserrat on Tuesday, July 21st, to work with the Ministry of Health and Social Services. More details in this report from the Ministry's Health Promotion Coordinator, Penny Maloney.
The team's arrival is in direct response to a request made in March 2020 by the government of Montserrat to the Republic of Cuba for medical support for COVID-19. Government of Montserrat officials were at the John A. Osborne Airport to welcome the contingent to our shores.
Hablo muy poco español, pero te saludaré en español esta vez. En nombre del gobierno y la gente, te doy la bienvenida a Montserrat. Esperamos trabajar con usted y que su estadía sea productivo y agradable. Gracias por venir a ayudarnos en este momento. De nuevo les doy la bienvenida a Montserrat. Dios bendiga.
The request for the support from Cuba was based on the experience of the Cuban medical personnel in coping with disasters and serious epidemics worldwide. There is also a need for the deployment of personnel in different medical care settings on island to support our health system. The contingent is comprised of 8 general nurses and 5 doctors with varied specialties, to include anesthesia, internal medicine, pediatrics, obstetrics and gynecology, and a general medicine practitioner. While on island, the public can expect to see the medical team fully utilized in conducting specialist clinics, working in the hospital and in the district health centers. Reporting for the Government at Work News, I am Health Promotions Coordinator Penny Maloney.
Montserrat's new submarine fiber optic cable was successfully connected. The cable system was installed to the branching unit between Antigua and Guadeloupe following the arrival of the cable laying ship IT Intrepid at Buncombe Bay on June 29th. The ship arrived on island after stopping in Curacao to pick up the cable, which was specially manufactured for Montserrat in France earlier this year. Project manager Denzel West commented on the significance of having the fiber optic service on Montserrat. He also provided details about the next stage before the project is fully completed.
The cable has been landed at Buncombe Bay. The process started this morning at 7 o'clock, and it went rather quickly and very smoothly. The sea is very calm. There's multiple benefits. What we're trying to achieve, first of all, is to give our off-island connectivity as much redundancy as possible. Currently, our off-island connectivity, telecommunications connectivity, is done via microwave links connecting from Montserrat to Antigua. Both Flow and Digicel have microwave links connecting us to Antigua, and that's how all our traffic leaves the island. Now, we live in a hurricane belt, so you could just imagine if we had a bad hurricane, or maybe not even so bad, but one that damaged the towers, we could be out of connectivity for who knows how long. So we're trying to solve that problem by putting the infrastructure underground and under the sea so that we eliminate that particular problem. That we will now have exponential broadband capacity with the fiber optic cable. So once we have that, the opportunities are endless. So we'll have opportunities for distance learning, for telemedicine, and for increased telecommunications businesses, different types of telecommunications businesses which rely on high bandwidth and reliable bandwidth. So this is a problem that we're solving with the implementation of this project? Well, I know that's one of the most important questions that the general public in Montserrat has been asking. You know, they've been hearing about the subsea fiber project and they're wondering what it will do. What are the changes that will come for the consumer? For the consumer, I'm afraid that aspect has to be left to the telecom providers in Montserrat. The telecom providers who already have a franchise in Montserrat, that is Flow and Digicel, they will have to decide how they're going to deliver their services better and deliver additional services, more advanced services that the customers are crying out for a while now. Some of the services they could not deliver because of the off-island capacity, but now they have no excuse. I'm sending out the challenge to them, both Digicel and Flow. You now have no excuse because the off-island capacity is as much as they want it to be, really. The capacity of the cable is rated at, it can go up to 8 terabits of data. We're only lighting the cable to 100 gigabits at the moment. So you just do the math there and see that whatever the telcos want to do, they can do going forward.
The project remains on track to be ready for service at the end of August. Stay with us for more government stories after this message.
Hello, I am Public Health Nurse Alex Aki.
And I am Joan Moinadine, Public Health Nurse.
And today we will be showing you how to correctly wear cloth face coverings. COVID-19 spreads mainly from person to person through respiratory droplets produced when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or talks. These droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby or can be inhaled into the lungs. Face coverings protect others from your droplets, but you must know how to correctly use them for maximum benefit. Today we will demonstrate how to use a face covering with loops and ties and how to make a face covering from a bandana. We will begin with a simple homemade face covering or mask with loops. No matter what type of face covering you choose, begin by washing or sanitizing your hands for 20 seconds. Since you will be touching your face, you want to make sure you are not spreading germs when you are putting on the covering. Next, place the mask over your nose and mouth and secure it under the chin. Then simply loop the straps over your ears. Make sure it fits snugly and that you can breathe easily and freely. If your face covering has ties, first place over your nose and mouth, then secure the upper ties behind the head in a bow, then follow with the lower ties. This order of tying allows the mask to fit snugly on the face. Once again, make sure your breathing is unobstructed.
I will now demonstrate how to use a bandana as a face covering. This can be done in 2 ways. The first way shown is useful for persons with mobility issues who may not be able to tie a bow. 1. Fold the bandana in half, then fold it in half again. Loop a rubber band around each end, that is on the left and right, leaving a few inches of fabric so each side looks like a candy wrapper. Fold the sides over the rubber bands so they meet in the middle and tuck them together. This face covering can now be put on as was just shown. Alternatively, you can fold the bandana diagonally and simply tie at the back of the head. Whatever face covering you use, it is best to keep it on your face the entire time you are in public. Don't put the covering around your neck or up on your forehead and avoid touching it, but if you do, wash or sanitize your hands.
When it is time to remove the face covering, here is how to do so correctly. 1. Untie the strings behind your head or stretch the ear loops. 2. Handle the face covering by the strings or loops only, as the front and insides are hotspots of infectious viruses and bacteria. 3. Place the covering in the wash basket. It can be washed with your regular laundry. Remember, it is a single wear item and cannot be reused until it is washed. 4. Be careful not to touch your eyes, nose, and mouth when removing the covering, and wash your hands immediately after.
The Ministry of Health and Social Services strongly recommends the wearing of cloth face coverings in public settings, particularly where other social distancing measures are difficult to maintain, and while visiting the Glendon Hospital compound or any health center.
A new destination video showcasing the best of Montserrat has been launched. The video, which features Montserrat's more natural and charming character, was launched by the Tourism Division, Office of the Premier, on Monday, July 27th. The video includes sweeping shots of the landscape showing rich green areas, mountain views, hiking trails, sunsets, underwater adventures, and the Caribbean Sea, all being enjoyed by locals and visitors. Director of Tourism, Warren Solomon, said, "We wanted the video to appeal to the viewer's yearning to travel to places that highlight peace, tranquility, and beauty and friendliness." He further stated, "The world is not in a good place right now, but there are some shining lights, particularly in the Caribbean, where visitors can feel at ease and not have to deal with crowds and the fast-paced lifestyle. Montserrat is certainly one of those places." The video was produced by local graphic design and media agency Hypnotic Montserrat. A public transportation survey was conducted by the Energy Unit in the Ministry of Communications, Works, Energy and Labour as part of the electric vehicle pilot project. Polly Serena has been following this story.
In August 2019, the Ministry of Communications, Works, Energy and Labour, MCWEL, unveiled the island's very first electric vehicle. In support of efforts to encourage these environmentally friendly electric vehicles, the government of Montserrat had placed a 5-year waiver on the custom duties and consumption tax on all 100% electric vehicles imported until 2024. Hybrid vehicles are exempted from customs duties only for 2 years. All other hybrid vehicles except plug-in hybrid vehicles are exempted from consumption tax only for 2 years. The ministry bought the electric vehicle as part of plans under the Montserrat Energy Policy 2016 to 2030 to transition the transport sector away from fossil fuels. Then in January of this year, the Energy Unit embarked on an electric vehicle pilot project, which included the public transportation survey as one of the objectives. Here is Director of Energy Kenrick Beck speaking on the pilot project in more detail.
In 2019, roughly 51% of the island's fossil fuel importation was consumed by the transportation sector, which is a significant contributor. And in 2019, August of 2019, the government would have actually instituted a tax exemption on the importation of hybrids and electric vehicles. With that particular exemption, 100% electric vehicles are exempted from the duties and consumption tax, while if it's a plug-in hybrid or electric hybrid vehicle, you're exempted from the duties, and then if it's other hybrid vehicles, you are exempted from the consumption tax. Persons can save significantly in the initial cost. Besides the initial cost, you have savings as in terms of the maintenance costs and also savings in terms of the operating costs. What we've recognized is that a lot of person view an electric car to be a lot different than the ICV. So what we'd have done, we'd have embarked on a pilot project to kind of uncover some of this information to see what users of an electric car thinks of it in comparing to ICV.
Oswin Carty, Energy Officer at MCWEL, spoke on the public transportation survey and the information the department was able to gain from this survey.
In terms of the pilot project, what we're aiming to do is, as Mr. Burke pointed out, 50% of fossil fuels imported to the country goes to transportation. What we're aiming to do with the pilot project is help reduce the amount that is spent on fossil fuels and make the transportation sector more energy efficient. So in the project itself, what we're looking at is a cost-effective analysis between an electric vehicle and an internal combustion vehicle. We've done this analysis, and what we did was we did a loop from the A&F gas station to the Montserrat Secondary School and back. We had both vehicles of similar engine size and weight, and we drove them simultaneously with the EV at full charge and the internal combustion vehicle at full fuel capacity. So from this study, what we got is that it is cheaper to drive your EV than it is to drive your internal combustion vehicle. It is actually, it's 40 cents per kilometer for your internal combustion vehicle, whereas for your electric vehicle, it is 25% per kilometer, which is almost half. So you'll be saving almost half the money that you would normally spend to fill up fuel.
For GIU's Government at Work News, I am Paulie Sarina.
Positive discipline methods when dealing with children are being promoted on Montserrat by the Ministry of Education. During the month of July, the ministry launched a media campaign to encourage the adoption of positive discipline techniques. The campaign was launched virtually and included representation by several senior members of the UNICEF office, Ministry of Education counterparts from Antigua and Barbuda, a representative from the Montserrat Governor's Office, officials from the Ministry of Education, and members of the media. Director of Education, Dr. Gregory Julius, said, based on research, successful behavioral shifts can be achieved if staff, pupils, and parents are all involved in the process. Representative from the UNICEF Office for the Eastern Caribbean, Alois Camaragier, shared his thoughts on how Montserrat can speed up the process to implementing positive discipline in all settings.
So to accelerate Montserrat's progress towards a society whereby positive discipline is used in all settings, public and private, parents, caregivers, teachers, and all key stakeholders need to be exposed to the alternatives to discipline you are promoting. Everyone has a role, ladies and gentlemen, everyone, all of us, we have a role to play in creating the necessary positive environment for children to learn effectively and thrive. As the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child.
The UNICEF representative commended the Ministry of Education for keeping the child safeguarding and positive discipline high on the agenda. There are a total of 4 radio announcements and 4 videos on the theme Positive Discipline. The media launch, hosted by Narissa Golden of Golden Media LLC, contracted to produce the radio and social media public service announcements. The Woodlands beach has received a significant upgrade. Improvement works at the beach undertaken by the Tourism Division Office of the Premier were completed in July. The upgrades include the installation of picnic seating areas, a curb and slipper drain at the entrance, improvement to the natural stone wall, repair works to the access ramp, and the installation of a new walkway to the beach. Other improvements include the addition of 2 new concrete barbecue grills, restoration and replacement of handrails leading down to the beach, upgrades to the fencing around the facility, installation of guttering, and repainting of the walls at the facility. The work at the beach was funded by the European Union as part of a product development project. Other beaches across the island will also be improved by the end of the year. The beaches carded for improvement are the Little Bay Beach, Isles Bay, Old Road Bay, Limekin Bay, and Buncombe Bay. Our final story is up next after this message on positive discipline.
Try that song again for me, please, Jason.
No, I I want to watch TV.
Not until you finish your math.
No!
Give me faith and patience here today. Child, you're going to sit there until I tell you to move. Hell, what did I do with that belt?
Take deep breaths and think of another way to reach your goal.
All well and good for you to say. You don't see how he's trying me. Okay. Take deep breaths. Think of another way to reach your goal. Baby, you're tired of sitting down, huh?
Yes, can we finish work tomorrow?
No, because we have more schoolwork to do tomorrow. Here's what. How about we watch a funny video? I'll let you choose. Then we go right back to finishing off the work. If you finish before bedtime, I'll let you watch some more videos until it's time to say goodnight.
Deal.
Deal. I'll get the hang of this positive discipline thing.
You can positively discipline your child without the use of beatings or harsh words. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education, UNICEF, this station, and funded by UK Aid.
Saturday, July 18th, 2020 was the 25th anniversary of the onset of volcanic activity on Montserrat. The Soufriere Hills volcano erupted on Tuesday, July 25th, 1995. To recognize the significance of the day and to allow for reflection, a week of activities was conducted from July 13th to 18th. Activities included daily panel discussions on the Soufriere Hills volcano by the Montserrat Volcano Observatory, a service of prayer and thanksgiving in collaboration with the Montserrat Christian Council, videos highlighting the onset of volcanic activity, the relocation and the rebuilding in the north were also broadcast as part of the activities. Premier Farrell's message to the nation acknowledged the struggles of the past, but instilled a sense of hope and inspiration.
In July 1995, the Soufriere Hills volcano erupted. In June 1997, major volcanic eruption killed 19 persons, flattening more villages, forests, and agricultural lands. In December of 1997, a series of devastating volcanic eruptions rendered almost two-thirds of our beloved island uninhabitable. In 2003, further significant eruptions destroyed additional lands and agricultural infrastructure. The Emerald Isle of the Caribbean, picture perfect and evergreen, well known for our natural beauty. Its physical landscape battered in places but not obliterated. It is God who spared our lives and spared Montserrat, and for this we are eternally grateful. 25 years, and we are still here. To God be the glory.
Messages were also delivered by His Excellency the Governor Andrew Pace and the Director of the MVO, Dr. Graham Ryan. Thank you for tuning in to Government at Work. Join us on the first Monday of next month for our next government news package. I am Adina Johnson on behalf of the GIU Government at Work production team, thanking you for watching.